What's up, everybody? I'm Frankie Biggz. Thank you for stopping by to my channel. And if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and put that notification bell on so you know the next time we drop one of these Dimash videos. Okay, today we are back at it with the ultimate Dimash guide. This is episode 3. Okay, now, right now, excuse me, I'm really excited because tomorrow my wife and I we were invited to a private press conference with Dimash here in Barcelona. So we're excited to go. We've got your guys' questions. You still can put your questions in. We're fielding through all of them. I may have a chance to ask about 3 questions, hopefully. So please get those questions in. We're going to look through all of them. And if I do an interview with them, because we're still waiting to hear back, a lot of this stuff is last minute if you know this industry. If we do get the chance to do like a small 3, 4, 5 minute interview, I'll definitely be asking dear questions, the questions that you guys have asked me to ask, okay? So we're going to get those ready. In total, we'll probably set aside 10 questions, and they'll be ranked from 1 to 10. So we will let you know if we ask one of the questions that was yours. We'll definitely let you know, okay? For now, let's get into this. This is the ultimate guide for Dimash, episode 3. Let's count it down. 1, 2, 3.
Можешь спеть? Вот скажите, вот такое формирование голоса. Вы что-то делаете? Может быть, какие-то секретные упражнения, там, задерживать дыхание? Есть что-то?
Да, там ничего особенного.
Родился, как бы, и все.
Вообще ничего особенного. Просто надо заниматься 20 лет музыкой. И с 5 лет надо ходить в музыкальную детскую школу. Потом надо поступить в музыкальный колледж. Потом надо поступить в консерваторию или в академию искусств. Потом надо поступить в магистратуру. Так, там все легко просто. 5 жасыма дейін бала есебінде өмір сүрдім. 5 жастан бастап қазір 30 жасқа келдім. 25 жыл музыкадан дәріс алумен келе жатырмын. Биыл докторлық дәрежемді қорғаймын. Лос-Анджелеске оқуға түсуге ұсыныс түсті. Енді режиссура мамандығы бойынша енді бір екі ойлы болып жүргем. Грант ұсынылды. Мына үлкен ағаларымызбен, бәрімен, қасымдағы бауырлармен ақылдасып отырып, келесі жылы арман қуып жүрген бір балаға сол грант бұйырсын деп, сондай шешімге келіп, осы әңгімеге тоқтап қойған болатынбыз. Лучиано Паваротти деген үлкен атақты опера әншісі әлемнің номер бірінші дауысы бола тұрып, номер бірінші теноры бола тұрып, өлгенше жасы 70-ке келгенше мұғаліммен дайындалған. Өйткені сырт жақтан құлақ керек. Адам, әнші өзін ешқашанда дұрыс естімейді. Оған әрқашанда дауысы әдемі болу керек. Вокалмен сол бала кезден шығармашылықты әбден қанша дейін айналысу керек. Неге десеңіздер, вокал бір рет дауысты қойып алып, одан кейін сол мұғаліммен айналыспай келетіндей мамандық емес. Өмірдің соңына дейін, әншілік мансаптың соңына дейін айналысып тұру керек мұғаліммен. Немесе адам өзі жаттығу керек. Егер де құлағы жақсы еститін болса, кемшіліктерді. Есімде соны 99 немесе 2000 жылдары 5 шамасында мен Ахмет Жұбанов атындағы Ақтөбе музыкалық колледжінің жанынан құрылған балалар мектебі бар. Сол мектепке сол 4-5 шамасында ең алғашқы рет қазіргі таңда шетелдік мұғаліммен айналысып жүрмін вокалдан, бірақ ол кісінің алдында өйтіп қобалжып едім, Марат ағаның алдында қобалжып бастадым да кәдімгідей. Өлеймін, ағайдың бір кәдімгідей мысы басады әлімге дейін. И я неимоверно благодарен своему педагогу за то, что он воспитал нас не как певца, а прежде всего он старался воспитать нас духовное качество, человеческие качества. Он всегда нам говорил, что твоя миссия не стать самым хорошим певцом. Даже если ты станешь отличным вокалистом, прежде всего ты должен оставаться человеком хорошим. Вот. Я запомнил эти слова на всю жизнь. Я помню, что мой педагог особо старался не обращать внимание на мои победы на международных конкурсах и всегда ставил на место, занимайся, ты еще не добился ничего, давай. Біздің ағай Марат ағай ешқашанда баланы асыра сілтеп мақтамайтын ешқашанда. Байқаулардан келіп жүргеннен кейін ағай маған 4 қойып бастады экзамендерге. Бәріне 5, Димашкудайберген, у вас 4 дейді. Демеймін тағы да. Жарайды дейді, тағы бір экзамен болады, 4 қояды. Содан кейін әбден колледжді бітіргелі жатқан кезімізде менің мына құжатым бар ғой, зачетка, соны бермейтін маған ешқашанда. Содан кейін барып колледжді бітіргеннен кейін зачетпен алып қарасам, ол 4 қоймаған, 5 қоя берген. Сонда мен дейтін бірнеше жыл алдаған болып тұр. Бірақ соның арқасында мына шабыттануға деген кішкене бір рефлекс сияқты бір нәрсе қалып қойды деп ойлаймын. Сол себептен ағайымызға мынандай ерекше методикасымен бізді дәріптеп тәрбиелегендігі үшін шын жүректе рахмет айтамын. Maestro, just one second. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I want to use this opportunity to say greatest respect and a lot of thanks to my vocal coach who teach me, who met me like today's Dimash.
他不要给我换成2个位置。No。Yes。是，注意。啊，yes。手扶在这儿 ，Go。Very good. Yes. 但是这个喉结还应该再稳定一点。Go。Okay. Very good. Yes.
Okay, wow. So, believe it or not, you can see me. I almost want to take the lesson with him at that point. But because my wife more than me, my wife is a trained singer. And so she's had vocal teachers and vocal coaches and even piano teachers, excuse me. With me, I've always had a study of music up until I became a professor of it. So I know how important it is to always keep studying, to always keep doing it. And he's right. No matter what any singer tells you, the truth is that you have to have a vocal coach, always. You know what I mean? And that education never stops. You don't get to a point where, like, look at this guy. This guy has achieved ultimate success just with his voice. He has earned himself financial success at the same time, right? So people in that position, most of these artists are like, forget that. This is easy. You know what I mean? This is easy work. I can keep putting these records out. But we end up finding out that through years and years and years of that type of singing, there's a lot of abuse that happens if you're not trained correctly. And abuse, more, I could say damage, that's a better word. More damage on your vocal cords for years of not stretching without doing the proper stuff. It's like anything else. The vocal cord is a muscle. When you decide to get, perhaps you decide to get serious about lifting weights, you start getting right into it, you're going to hurt yourself. That's all there is to it. And if you don't stretch and if you don't do things correctly and you don't work on your posture like he's doing, on top of the exercises, you hurt yourself and you don't last long. You end up burning out quite quickly. This guy is in it for the long haul, and it's just really cool that he's at that point. Let's keep it going. Here we go.
В первую очередь воспитывался на казахской музыке. Я горжусь тем, что у меня хоть и академическая вокальная школа, но меня обучал казах. И все равно есть какой-то момент, где проскальзывает именно моя казахская сторона в моем пении. Я меломан, я люблю любую музыку. Я могу послушать рэп, я могу послушать тяжелый рок, металл, и после этого начать слушать оперу.
Почему-то многие люди думают, что я люблю слушать и петь только классические произведения. Но на самом деле я люблю и рэп, я люблю и рок, я люблю и джаз, соул, фанк,
Well, that's a really good
и
question.
попсу. Вот. Из рэпа из рэперов Эминем.
Answer that one.
Конечно же, наших казахских композиторов.
Оказалось, что Димаш, так же как и я, обожает американскую музыку и находит много общего между культурами.
Понимаете, в казахской музыке есть какие-то джазовые моменты, потому что у нас ритм часто встречается 6/8. И
синкопированная, может,
да, да. И казахи тоже любят петь очень свободно. Хотел сказать просто, что у нас тоже свободная форма есть, и там тоже свободная форма есть.
Вот если скажут, Димаш, вот пришел на американский фильм, говорит, Димаш, а вот какая ваша самая любимая американская песня? Что вы поете не на сцене?
Конечно, это Майкл Джексон. Конечно, это Богемская рапсодия и Фредди
Oh my
Меркьюри,
God,
и все,
yes.
что с ним связано. Конечно же, это Селин Дион.
Wow.
И я,
Фрэнк Синатра?
of course. Я очень обожаю творчество Дэвида
Heck
Босса.
yeah, man. Shit.
Майкл Джексон, Селин Дион, Лучано Паваротти, Андреа Бочелли. Олар бул жарамай мен.
Really, I dreamed about this moment from my child.
We do it again, okay?
Okay.
Again?
Yeah. So let's.
My grandson discovered you.
Really?
In Budapest, my dreams come true because all my life, from my childhood time, I had a dream to meet with Plácido Domingo and to work with him together. And when I was 5 years old, I had a VHC with his concert.
So I come to music because of you.
Менің продюсерім жоқ. Және де менің ойымша мен продюсерім болмайды ешқашанда. Қазіргі таңда болмайды. Ол кісілерді қатты сыйлаймын. Қазақстандағы үздік продюсерлердің бәрін де жақсы танимын, жақсы сыйлаймын. Жұмыстарын қатты бағалаймын. Бірақ дегенмен мен ешқашанда өз басым продюсермен жұмыс жасай алмас едім. Өйткені кішкене ғана кикілжің қасиеттерім бар. Өйткені біреу осы әнді айт, мына киімді ки, осындай бағытпен жүр деп айтса, мен оны тыңдай алмайды екенмін. Жүректен шыққан қалауым қандай, сонымен ғана жүретін адаммын. Сол себептен сөздің шыны керек, көбісі тыңдағанды ұнатпаймын. Стараюсь сотрудничать с теми людьми, которые предлагают мне хорошие условия. Как творческий человек, я должен чувствовать абсолютную свободу, чтобы я сам принимал какие-то решения, которые будут касаться моего творчества. Для того, чтобы расти, я должен попробовать творить, работать в этом направлении. Ну да, уже, наверное, ни для кого не секрет, что у меня в разных странах есть разные продюсеры, компании, с кем я сотрудничаю, но у нас Нету такого, чтобы кто-то там кому-то обязан, там эксклюзивные права, вот это все. У нас просто все чисто на дружбе, на доверии.
С Игорем Яковлевичем у нас некоторые почему-то думают, что у нас есть какие-то контрактные обязательства. У нас просто все на доверии. Он пишет песни, я исполняю. Я работаю с двумя лейблами вот, в Китае, в Америке. Но я, как говорится, сам себе хозяин. Мои права никто не ущемляет.
А зачем нам оркестр? Мы можем вдвоем выступить.
Да, вообще.
I managed to be on my own all these years. I didn't belong to any producer in the world. I work at one partnership level with a label in China, and I made the music I wanted to make.
Right now still working, right now still trying to do my best without any producers, without any labels, because of fans support. I think now I can work without any labels.
Okay, so how do I come at this? So when it comes to working with producers, he's his own producer. And he doesn't like to work with producers. I mean, he'll collaborate with producers, but he doesn't like to feel like a producer owns him. And then all of a sudden it goes to his dad is his main producer. And so I think there's a confusion. I understand why that would be confusing to some producers that are watching this. So let me, and I know that there are a few, so let me explain this. So here in Europe and in this part of the world, when you say producers, that really, really is a broad title, right? And especially even if you say, well, I'm a music producer. When you say that in the United States, a person will automatically think that you're exactly what you said. You're a producer of music. You produce music. And whatever, in their mind, whatever that means. But here in Europe, if you say I'm a music producer, that could mean that. It could mean that you produce shows. It could mean you produce music television shows. It could mean you produce a platform for DJs to come in, or bands or something. So music producer here, and especially the way that they're saying it in their language, maybe the explanation of what that work would be to that title sometimes it's not the same as what you would think in the United States. Okay, so what he's saying is that him as an artist, he doesn't belong to an agency that tells him what to do. He doesn't belong to a label that has an A&R outfit, a publishing outfit, a media outfit. You know, these different divisions inside their labels that take care of one project like his. So he's not in that mode either. Right? It sounds like he's got his own label.
He doesn't have an executive producer.
Huh?
He's his own executive.
Right, he's his own executive producer. Because people, especially like in the hood where I come from, people get that that whole CEO and executive producer and producer thing, they get it completely mixed around. They don't really know what they're saying. They just know that they want to be a boss. And I hear a lot of producers say, I'm an executive producer. Let me clear that up too, because that kind of coincides with what he's saying. Executive producer does not normally mean that you're the top #1 record producer of that project. Instead, what an executive producer means, both in the music business and in the film business, is you are the person that is paying for this production, thus making you the producer, as in the creator or the person who has given birth to this idea, the person that is nurturing this project, that is putting the money in. That makes you the executive producer. Then you have the producer of that project. That producer is producing the music. That could be now, in this day and age, because there were less responsibilities back in yonder. Today, the producer is normally the guy that will sit with the artist, go over and try to identify 10 great songs for an album, which could mean recording 30, 40 different songs. Once you have that agreement and you have a budget that will coincide with all the time that it's going to take to put this record together, the next thing happens. You and normally the artist or an A&R person who has a bunch of writers and songs and everything that he's got in his little bag will sit with you and try to find 10 great songs. Most of the times you X out the A&R guy. He doesn't need to be in that meeting, and it's just you and the artist who writes and somewhat already pre-produces their songs, and you guys start to record. And again, you're trying to find 10 songs on an LP, and that LP has 10 to 12 songs, and you may have to record 30 to 40. That is that producer. That's the guy that is in control of the inner workings, the studio, the creativity, the mix, the mastering, like anything having to do with getting that record happening. And most of the times producers spend a lot of time with the artist. They become very close, they become friends, because the producer also needs to know a little bit about that artist, like Dimash. What Dimash is saying is, fuck all that. I don't need any of that stuff. I don't need that guy. I do it myself. So now I understand him. Now I understand, because somebody corrected me about him and his relationship with Walter Avanasi. They are very good friends, and they've done stuff together. But for the most part, from my understanding, Walter lets Dimash go into Walter's studio and create anytime he needs to. I don't know the relationship past that. So let's state that. But that does happen. Other than that, swinging back to him and not needing producers, that's how he's segregated each position, which is kind of cool to me. Because then that means he doesn't need an A&R person, because he doesn't have a label. He doesn't need a producer, because he'll just hire people to do that. Meaning, he'll come up with the song, he'll write the song, he'll hire a programmer like myself to come in and come up with the composition, and that's it. Or he'll have a publishing person show him tracks from guys like me, right? Guys that are trying to submit to his record. Dimash listens through, and he starts to he picks out the tracks that he likes, and he starts to write, and he starts to, whatever he does, whatever his process is, writing it, working with other people to write. So that's how he's doing it. And then basically he's saying to other people that he's worked with that are high up in the industry, like all these big famous composers and everything, it's basically just based on friendship and whatever. I know that there's it is contractual. It's just that when you get to that level, you kind of just tell people, this is what I cost. This is what I expect. Either you want it or you don't. It comes in the form of a memo deal or even a writer to that degree. Like, this is what it takes. You know, he's no stranger. This guy is very wealthy, so he's able to just say whatever. I think he likes it cut and dry, boxed up like that, so that they can just get through all that stuff as just a one-time payment, and then he's there. You know what I mean? He's creating with these people, and he doesn't have to think about you know, the typical stuff that he's probably run into, which, well, how much am I going to get? And what's my percentage and all this kind of shit? He has eliminated all that. And he can, because he's such a great musician. Not to mention the fact that he runs with people that know the music business tip top. You know what I mean? From tip to the top. They know everything. So they keep everything very calm, very relaxed, so that he is able to just create the way that he wants to create, and all the business gets done within earshot of him. Meaning, you know what I mean? He knows what's going on, but he doesn't get that far into it. Other than that, that's what I took from it. It doesn't mean that he wouldn't collaborate with different people. I think he's just kind of that animal where once he gets to where he's at, it's all about what they create. It's really an old, I guess the old adage in the music business is, doesn't matter how many writers, doesn't matter the producer, doesn't even matter the label, the best song wins. And that's it. The best song wins, regardless of who wrote it and how it was written. So I think he's in that mode. Anyways, this was a really, really good episode. I think that this one, out of the 3 that I've seen, this one is a little better. It hits home a little more. And yeah, I can't wait to meet this guy. This kind of makes me modify some questions, right? So, which is cool. So I'm glad I got to see this. Other than that, I want to thank everybody that came out to see this, that came to my channel. Thank you, dears, for the support to my channel. And thank you for being there with me as I discover more great content from this gentleman. He is just an amazing person, and I can't wait to meet him tomorrow, nor can I not wait to finally get to see him live in July, right? November. Oh, geez, that's a big gap. November. So, all right. Thank you for stopping by. And if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and put that notification bell on so you know the next time we do part 4 of the Ultimate Dimash Guide. Peace.